breed, but it's the going along. If you look at Fox Pitt, his horse's pole will be in the highest point, and it doesn't waver much. And some of ours go along, and they're in and out of the bridle, and the connection changes all the time. And that is true at high level. It's true at low level eventing. I mean, heck, I go to some of these things with those guys, and I can't even believe when I watch the prelim horses. And I mean, they're half unrideable, renegades that they pulled out of some field someplace. They're pretty brave. The fact that I would ride in a 20-meter circle and they're running across country. But at the high level eventing horses, it's that smooth, fluid flow through the work. Just like at international level dressage, you're bound by the talent and ability of your horse, what separates, number 15 in the world from number 1. I mean, that is just all about ability and chemistry for the horse and rider. Some horses just are able to lift, if they're race cars, some horses have 400 horsepower and some have 1,000. It's just a fact of life. Some horses can run faster and jump higher than others, right? But that fluidity factor of how you ride, and that each and every stride mimics the one before it, that's the key to crossing the line to being presentable. Just is. Like when you ride this guy, when you have him on a bend, that he's bent that much to the inside, and he stays there. Not that the bend, and I don't want you holding him there, but not that the bend fluctuates, or he changes the contact, or you're riding along, you have him just fine for 5 strides, and he drops the bit for 2. It's those, I call those upheavals, it's those upheavals in your ride that they're the kiss of death. Judges watching, all judges watch you, you go in the ring, pretty much, they won't say this because it's not how they're trained, but it's what human nature is. They're starting you out. I know in eventing you have only single marks, you don't have half marks.
No, we have half marks now.
Do you now?
Yeah.
All right. So all of it is half marks. You know where every judge is starting you out? 6.5. Every single solitary movement they're looking at, in their head, they are not objective like going, I'm starting with no preconceived notion. They start at a 6.5. That's human nature. They start you at average, middle of the road. The minute you do the exercise or the movement and the task, they look at it and go, wow, that was quite a lot better than what I thought the average would be. So they moved it up to wherever they decide it needs to go. So the thing is that steady, clear, organized approach to an exercise that you flow through it with no upheaval gets you 6.5. Then we move either up or down from there based upon what we do. It's just a fact of life. It's human nature. Human nature is start at the middle and work your way up or down. So when you're ready, you should go ahead and try. And it's things like the transition where you see, and upheavals come from things like you're walking, you go to trot with it, and most people put their leg on to go trot, make the transition, and in the process of putting their leg on and changing the gait, they adjust their reins. Most people go, I say, go ahead and trot. The first thing somebody does is go, Aruba, and changes the reins and their contact. That's like punching the gas pedal on the race car and taking your hands off the wheel. Your reference point is gone. He needs to flex a little bit to the right, Nancy. A little bit to the right. Good. A little more trot forward. Good. Look up, Nancy. Straight ahead. Now, I'm looking at this from the get-go, and the whole package of this horse is so much better to me. He's rounder, and you have more energy. Nancy, you got to work always through your work at thinking about that your reins are not too long. He'll get you a little bit here. He'll get you a little bit handcuffed here. Better your reins a little shorter. If you have your rein a little shorter, you can put your hand in front of you and pull your upper body out. There. Keep your inner leg. That's right. Keep your inner leg. Riding towards the bridle from your inside leg. Good. Good. Now keep your shoulders square over the top of your hips. Now, that stupid little adjustment of take your shoulders over the top of your hips, you know what I see then? I look over and you're in my eye. If I glance up at you over there, from the way you had your shoulders over there, or when I said pick your shoulders up, your competence level increases in my head 1 point. You know, I never want to be the one, I'm the one that will make somebody stay on a 20-meter circle forever because I want to get the horse correctly on the bit and all the basic principles working well. But at the end of the day, when we're going to go compete, let's not forget, I don't want this to come out wrong. But it's a little bit like, it has to be good, but it also has to look good. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing about, I don't want to say it doesn't have to be good, it just has to look good. The judge does not feel that horse, right? They don't feel that horse. They only know a short 5-minute snippet in time when they're watching you ride. So you may be working through stuff, Nancy, and trying to get this guy, you know, better as a horse and train further and all that. But in the process, think of your posture, think of your upper body, think of what we're looking at. Because the judge is only an observer. There's no time clock. You know, it's not cross country. Doesn't matter what the heck you look like, so long as you're fast and clean. Although that's not true either. If you look like you're out of control, they pull people up on course now. Inner leg on. Yep, inner leg on. Keep your shoulders up, Nancy. Keep your hand in front of you. Don't let that, the neck doesn't need to get too long. Always your hands stay clearly in front of you. Hands together with the inner leg on. Rising into the bridle from your leg. He's round enough. He doesn't need to get rounded. He needs to stay together in the contact. Good. Great, Nancy. Straight ahead. Good. Inner leg. You're totally right. Inner leg. Good. Inner leg. Nice. Keep the inner leg. Good. Keep the inner leg. Very good. Keep the inner leg. Very good. Keep the inner leg on, hands together, towards the bridle. Good. Towards the bridle, from your calf. Hands together, Nancy. Don't let your left hand get down toward your left knee. There. You know, I know that's a different feel to you, but you put your hands together like that, the same height above his withers, it changes the picture. So, when you're ready, sit down on it. And keep your seat down. Look up, look up, look up between his ears. Good, good, good. Hands the same height. Circle now. Keep that contact. Keep your shoulder back. Look up. You ride that pole of that horse up from your calf into the bridle, into your hand. You don't let him move you around too much. I don't want you to be rigid in your back, but I want you to stay on your seat. Don't let him take you off the saddle. And when he does that, gather your contact and drive your inner leg on him a little bit. Put your leg on him anyway. Put your leg on him anyway. Push that inside hind leg of his out underneath your seat a little bit. Put him on a little leg up. Look at him, hang that left hind to the left. Push, you're right. You push that left hind out to the right a little bit. Get your hands together, get your hand together, put your inner leg on. You make him put your inner leg on and make him push that inner hind underneath himself. Yep. Stay there, stay with it. Stay with it. Play it cool. Play it cool. Play it cool. Good. Leave his inner hind like this and hold your inner leg on him a bit. I know you feel like you're going about 40 feet sideways. He's actually straight right now. Good. And walk. Vince, I go to the gym to try to stay fit.